When we focus on the person, we focus on their health, and we focus on what they need, that's where we make these magical changes. Some people call it a miracle. It's not a miracle. Your body is a miracle. Your body is phenomenal, what it can and cannot do. Imagine all the things you've done in your life, right? All those things we did when we were younger that we shouldn't have done, and how we're still alive to some capacity, because our body is amazing. Treat it as that type of situation, and you will live a very healthy, long, quality type of life. But if you don't, it's going to be much more difficult. So I also want to focus on a couple other things. As many of you probably know, we're dealing with some pretty crazy stuff in the world right now with this virus that's going on. Now, the good news is that we are moving towards where things are starting to open up. People are able to go outside. We're starting to be able to enjoy our life. But one of the things that I want to focus on is that just because this virus may be potentially going away, doesn't mean we're out of the woods, specifically with diabetes. Now, a couple things is, number one, because these health issues, these health-related issues, these correlating problems that are associated with diabetes are still going to be there. You're still going to have a risk of cardiovascular problems. You're still going to have a risk of neuropathies, which can lead to amputations. Still have a risk of stroke. Still have a risk of kidney issues. All these things are still risk factors that need to be addressed. But on top of that, what if this virus comes back? We don't know. No one knows. What if it comes back in the fall? What if it's a regular thing every single year, just like the flu? Another thing for us to worry about. Now, we hope and pray that's not the case, but what if it is? So why I'm saying this is because there is no better time than now to make a change, to make a conscious decision to get better health, to improve your health. Because I want to read you some of the statistics. So bear with me as I look down for a couple things here. But one of the statistics was a study they did in the Journal of American Medical Association. And I'm going to post this study in the comments below. So if you want to read more about it, you can. And this study was based upon some findings they found from New York. Because New York, as we all know, New York City was hit the hardest, had the most amount of deaths than any other city and even state for that matter. But what they found was the people that were most vulnerable to COVID-19 were individuals who had high blood pressure, who were obese, and diabetic. The percentages were with high blood pressure, 57% of the individuals who were diagnosed with COVID-19 were high blood pressure, 41% were obese, and 34% were diabetic. Well, what's interesting is that if you look at that, they all correlate with diabetes, right? Diabetes typically people have high blood pressure. Typically, not always, but there's a percentage that are going to have obesity issues or weight issues. So it just leaves your condition of diabetes at more of risk. And we also saw that the diabetic patients who were in the hospital there had a higher increased risk of getting on ventilators. And because the condition was just taking over their body. See, as diabetic patients, people don't realize that their immune system is usually more suppressed. They're more vulnerable to other problems because of the underlying mechanisms of what diabetes is doing to their body. And we all know, or if you haven't known, and I'll post this link as well, not only the study, but I'll post the link that showed that the individuals who went on ventilators had a very, very high risk of death in New York City. So many of them were getting to a point that they needed these ventilators because they were becoming so sick. And many of those who went on ventilators died, and a good percentage of those individuals were diabetic. So there's another component here to this whole problem for diabetes. So again, taking your health in your own hands. One other statistic I just want to go over real briefly, it doesn't necessarily have to do with diabetes. So, I hope this information was worth your while and that it was beneficial. And, please post any comments or questions that I'll be more than happy to answer. Or if there's other topics that you want me to discuss in the future. As I mentioned, I believe as a doctor that the first thing that we should be doing is educating. Doctors should be educating and their public and their patients more than anything else, right? So, I also believe that as doctors, we are not the healers, right? All we are is the conduit to help you get to a point that your body can heal, because your body is the best doctor and can do the best healing. But with the information and knowledge and education that doctors like myself have, we can speed up the process and get you there faster. But I wanted to go over this one last little topic here, or information. And sorry, I'm looking at my computer for the stats here. I found it very, very interesting as I was looking at the CDC website, and I will post this link as well. And they're showing the amount of deaths from February 1st through May 2nd, 2020. Now, obviously, in February and early March, the amount of deaths from COVID-19 were very low. But as we move into the late March into April, the number of deaths started going up. But what's really interesting is when you look here, we also see deaths from pneumonia and deaths from influenza. And both of those categories, from late March through the end of April, the number of deaths of pneumonia and influenza dramatically decreased. Now, I find it very interesting because at the same time, the number of deaths of COVID-19 also extremely increased. Prior to that, the amount of deaths of COVID-19 compared to influenza and pneumonia were extremely low, but then things started changing. And why is that interesting, at least it is for me, is that were these deaths truly due to COVID-19? Or were they actually pneumonia related, and because they were testing positive for COVID-19, did they actually just say, well, it was COVID-19 because of similar symptoms, or maybe the test results showed that? Well, I mean, you can take that information as you will, but this is stated clearly on the CDC website. This is not fake news. I mean, unless you believe that CDC is a fake news, but that's what we have as a guidelines, the CDC on infectious diseases. So I just found this very interesting. And when you really start to look at the numbers here and what's really going on, obviously this is a very dangerous virus for many reasons that I don't need to go into right now. But I just find it interesting to know, or to see, that maybe the amount of deaths that we currently see in the US aren't truly due to the deaths of COVID-19. So again, going into this whole talk today, I really wanted to discuss more about diabetes and the impacts of things like a virus or their underlying mechanisms that are going on in someone's body and their risk factors to an earlier death. You know, we all want to have a quality of life. We all want to live, be around for our families and spend time with our grandkids or kids, or even just brothers and sisters. We have a choice, and that choice is to take your health into your own hands. Please do not rely on someone else to do this. Do not rely on the medical system. Do not rely on your health insurance. You don't have to rely on anybody except for yourself. We have to take full advantage of what we have and do whatever is necessary to help ourselves heal. If your heart is beating, if you have blood circulating through your body and your brain is still functioning, you can heal. I don't care how old you are. The difference is, how much are you willing to do? How much are you willing to change? Are you willing to change your lifestyle? Are you willing to make the changes that are necessary for you to get better again and get healthy? That's the true question. If you're in that mindset, well, maybe someone like myself can help you, but you have to take the first step. You have to ask for help. You have to find someone like me who can help you. Again, I hope this information was worth your time. I've gone over a little more than I wanted to today, but that just happens when you have a topic like this that is so meaningful and so empowering that you want to make sure you get this out to the community. If you have any further questions, comments, please post them in the comments there as I shut the live down here shortly. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, or if you have any questions that you want to ask us directly, you can always call my office. I can put that information in the comments as well about how you can get in touch with our office, or if there's someone in your life that can benefit from this information, please have them watch this video, share this video, and then they can always make their own choice if it's the right time for them or not as well. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. We're in one of the hottest days of the week, so be careful out there. Get some sun, get some exposure, get some air. That is super beneficial for our immune system and for our body. Keep your head up there. We're moving into some brighter times in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to an amazing summer. If there's any other topics that you're interested in me talking about, please post them as well in the comments. I'll be more than happy to expand upon those and go from there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.